What is going on YouTube? We are back with another episode of QBX. If you like the video, drop a like. Um, Give me some comments of what you want to see next. I think I'm doing Deshaun Watson next video, so after that, let me know. So today we're talking about Matt Stafford being traded to LA for Jared Goff, 2 firsts and a third. Here's the Schefter bomb we had earlier tonight. This surprised me that they gave up this much for Matt Stafford at his age. He's hasn't had injury issues, but he's 33, I believe. 32, 33. He's not old, not young. He's right in the middle. But to give up 2 firsts, a third, and Jared Goff to just get a quarterback for that seems absurd to me. I get why they're getting rid of Jared Goff. It's a salary dump. He's owed $40 million next year and $50 million the year after against the cap, I believe. Something absurd like that. So that's why LA had him in this deal to get rid of his salary, just to dump it, and the Lions are taking it, which is, I guess, an okay move since you're getting 3 picks along with them, 2 being first rounders. But the picks aren't till 2022 and 23 because the Rams gave their 2021 pick to, was it Jacksonville for Ramsey, maybe? Maybe that's what it was. For some trade they did earlier in the year. Also, I was looking at the Rams' history with their big quarterback contracts now that Stafford's going to be their third or fourth highest player. The last few, Jared Goff, Todd Gurley, Brandon Cooks, all those 3 offensive players they've given big contracts to have not worked out. I'm glad. I understand why the Washington football team did make this decision to trade for him. This is just way too much to give up for a quarterback, or for Stafford at least. I would do this for Deshaun Watson, but not for Stafford, who's older, whose deal's absurd for his age, and to give up 2 firsts, a third, plus a player, I was like, no, no. I thought Stafford trade would be a first round pick and a player. 2 firsts to me was way too much. A first and a player is okay. I'm fine with that. I would have been happy with a first, but I didn't think that was going to get it done. But 2 firsts, a third, and a player, that's just ridiculous for one quarterback. And just to get a quarterback back, that's all they got. They just got Stafford. It's absurd. I get what LA's doing. Their defense was #1 this year, so they'll win now. Jared Goff, he's up and down. He has good games, he has bad games. He's like Kirk Cousins. He's up and down, up and down, up and down. He's not great, but he's not the best. He's not the worst, he's not the best. He's right in the middle. So, but if you look at the numbers, he's not that much different from Stafford. Stafford was better than him this year with, I don't know, weapons wise, how much of a difference it was. And I think Stafford missed a game, so, but I think Goff missed a game. He missed the last game, so kind of evens out. They had similar numbers. McVay's offensive minded, so I would imagine Stafford's numbers next year would be better. He's got, I don't know if he's probably have better weapons out there. He had good weapons with Galladay and Marvin Jones. I think. I think that's the Lions receivers. I don't know the Lions all that well, but I think that's their receivers. So he had a lot of talent in Detroit. Their defense was terrible. The coach was terrible. That's why they fired their head coach this year. But I get why LA's making the move. They want to win now. They think they're a quarterback away from going to the Super Bowl. Jared Goff this year had an up and down year. In the playoff game against the Rams, he did what he needed to do. He looked bad. I know he had a messed up thumb, but he didn't lose in the game. He didn't win in the game. Their defense played well, shut down Russ. But when it came to playing Green Bay, they just had no shot. Their offense didn't have enough firepower. But that was also because Goff was hurt, so I don't know if it was all on him. He was injured. I know when he played Washington this year, they destroyed us. That's the only real game I watched of them. And I think week 1 I watched the Dallas Rams game and they beat them. But I don't watch that much Rams. But I was surprised by how much they gave up for him. But at the end of the day, the Rams think, okay, we can go out. Matt Stafford puts us over the hump. We can contend for a Super Bowl now. They have the defense to do it. Number 1 ranked defense. Ramsey, Aaron Donald. They have great talent on defense. Offensively, they got Woods, Akers, Everett, I think, is their tight end. Cooper Kupp. They got the talent on offense. And now you throw in Matt Stafford. Should work out for him really well. Now let's talk about his injury history. Just a little bit of Stafford's injury history. Nothing too crazy to go over here. I think it was last year he was out for most of the season. Is that what it is? Let me pull it up here real quick. No, that's not it. That's the next shot. Here we go. Yeah, last year that back tibular fracture. He was in that ended the season, so he's out half the season. It's week 9. So he's out half the season. 2016, he had a torn ligament in his finger. Didn't cost him. The dude was as tough as nails. If you guys haven't seen the video, I'll show it to you in a minute when he had the shoulder AC joint separation against the who was it? Was it against the Bears? I don't remember what game it was. But he came in. Was against the Browns. I don't remember. But he came in, had his non-throwing shoulder was out of joint, and he came in, threw a touchdown pass. I'll put that in here. It's crazy. He dislocated his knee. How much did that cost him? 2 games. So he's missed a few games, but he hasn't 5 games with an AC joint. He's had some shoulder problems. I think it's his non-throwing shoulder. 4 games, another shoulder. 2 games with the shoulder. Re-injured his shoulder, underwent surgery in November. So that was in 20. That was 10 years ago. So he hasn't had any recently. Had an ankle, didn't miss. He plays through a lot of injuries. I think he was injured this year. I forget what it was. He had some type of injury this year. Finger fracture, played through it. And torn ligaments. He's a tough son of a bitch. He'll play through some injuries, which a lot of people were wondering what his durability was. He played through a lot of injuries other than last year. We had that back problem and he missed half the season. Stuff like that happens. Injuries happen. It's a contact sport. Stars go down every year. You just hope it doesn't happen, but some team will have a star. This year's Dak went down with his ankle. Kyle Allen went down with his ankle. Saquon, I think, tore his ACL this year. He was out for the season. Odell got injured in the middle of the season. All these stars go down. It happens. So Deshaun Watson a few years ago had a tore ACL. So stuff like that happens, and it's a contact sport. So, and looking at this, he hasn't missed a lot. So the risk reward for him, I would say, is good, especially with how LA is built right now. No question why they made this decision. And now let's move on to the highlight of his AC joint thing coming in and throwing that touchdown. Alright, so it was against the Browns. They were down by 6 with a few seconds left. I muted the audio, so you guys, I'll just talk over it. So he goes out, he's rolling around, trying to make a play happen. He gets smashed in the ground by whoever that big dude is, Mosley. And he separates his shoulder. There's a roughing the passer call in the end zone. So he leaves. The Browns call a timeout so he could come back in for this play here. Last play of the game, there was no time left. So it was either score a touchdown here and win or lose. Yeah. and he actually threw the ball with a fucked up shoulder. You see it right there. It's out of sock. It's out of joint. It's messed up, and he led his team to victory with his shoulder out of joint. The dude's tough as hell. This is the biggest. This is how I remember Stafford, and always will, from this play. Dude's probably the toughest quarterback that I've seen play. I don't know. Brett Favre was pretty tough, but don't coming in with a touchdown like that. Throwing a touchdown like that. It's crazy. All right, now let's take a look at Stafford's stats throughout his years, 10 years, 11 years, whatever it is. We'll just do the last few years. Actually, let's look at this year first. So this year he threw for 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 10 picks. Really solid season. What was his QBR? 68.5 QBR. Very solid rating. I wish they had his average QBR. They don't have that. There's average quarterback rating, which is 89.9 for his career, which is very solid. Last year, before he went out, he had what? Almost, let's just say 2,500 yards, 19 touchdowns, 5 picks. He was on fire. Damn, he was on fire last year. And this year, 26 and 10. The year before that, 21 and 11, 29 and 10. So I remember him back in like the early days when I started playing fantasy in like 09. He was like touchdown pick, touchdown pick. He would throw touchdowns and pick. I had him in 2012. That's probably why. When he went 20 and 17. Damn, it's 2011 year. He had 41 and 16. It looks like he's cut down the interceptions a lot. 10, 10, 11, 5, 10 the last 5 years. 5 years and 1 year. 2019 he only played 7, 8 games. He played half the season, so yeah, that's right on par. 5. He's probably throw 10 if he plays the whole year. So it looks like he's cut down the interceptions by, let's just say 4 or 5 a year as he's matured in the NFL, to say. And he's been throwing around anywhere from 4 to 4,200 yards a year. It's looking in that range. So very solid quarterback. He's been throwing in the 20s for touchdowns. Honestly, your ideal quarterback doesn't make a ton of mistakes. Interceptions are going to happen. Especially, I'm not looking at the tape and seeing if they've been tip balls or whatnot, if they've been bad reads, drops that turn into picks. Those happen. But to me, Stafford, definitely a quarterback that I wanted. He was the one quarterback I wanted to trade for, honestly. If it was going to be like for a first round pick and a player, he's who I had in my mind. But I wasn't going to give up what the Rams did this year. So now, we're going to, and this also, Deshaun Watson's value just skyrocketed. If Matt Stafford went for 2 firsts, a player, and a third, Deshaun Watson's now probably going to be 4 or 5 first rounders. I had him at 3 first rounders and a player. Now he's probably going to be 4 or 5 first rounders and a player. So I don't know if I really want to give that up now. If it was 3 first rounders and a player, happy with it. I'm not giving up Chase Young for Deshaun. I would give up Montez Sweat, but not Chase. I would give up Deron Payne or John Allen. Honestly, I'd rather give up Deron Payne or John Allen for Deshaun Watson. But it's good. We have some interesting decisions. Well, we don't. The football team has some interesting decisions to make for their quarterback position now, because I don't think Deshaun Watson. I don't think we have one. I don't think we want to give up that many picks for a quarterback when you have the ability to draft one. There's more quarterbacks out there that you won't have to give up this much for in free agency. especially if Dak doesn't sign with Dallas. So, in my opinion, the Stafford, not pulling the trigger on Stafford was great for us. Deshaun Watson, I'm going to do a video on him either Monday or Tuesday. He'll be out and talk about what we should do with him. Until then, I'm out. Peace.